Okay, so another way to close this along with the belt is these little clips. I'm gonna leave links down below for everything. And of course, as you know, I'm not sponsored by anything, but what you wanna do is link them first. Find this top portion. Let's go ahead and close this up. Clip it to the top portion like this, and then drag it over here and clip it again. And there you have, it's closed off for a cool, windy walk. So here it is with simple blue jeans, and you'll note that with the belt, I went ahead and folded the lapel down and just used the belt to sort of keep it into place. You can see what I mean by you really don't need buttons. If you just put on a simple belt, and again, you will find a link for this belt in the description box down below. I paid like $12 for it on Amazon, not affiliated. But yes, just a simple pair of blue jeans. It's probably about 54 degrees out today with a breeze. I'm a little cold. I think I'm just gonna throw this on with a belt and be on the way. And so it's a simple jacket, but with a belt, with a little clip. It can be something just a little bit more fabulous, and I guarantee you'll be the only person on the block wearing this, unless they're watching my videos and your next door neighbor. Hello, 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 and welcome to the 1970s. And also Just Vintage Crochet. Now, I know I said I would never make cardigans. I don't particularly enjoy making them. Sometimes you just have to get over yourself, right? I had to get over myself because this coat here was way too cool to pass up. I'm absolutely going to make this and rock this winter. You bet your butt. So I picked colors I personally would like to wear. This pattern has 3 different sizes, size 8 to 10. Bear in mind, this is all 1970s sizing. Size 8 to 10, 12 to 14, and then size 16. I would say it's best to bet on the fact that these are going to run smaller than our modern 8 to 10, 12 to 14, and size 16. That being said, we are using acrylic yarn. It's going to be stretchy. Acrylic, there isn't a thing in the world I've made with acrylic yarn that didn't stretch. So I personally am going to make size 12 to 14 on camera. Now, typically I make these to fit Millie, but I want this for myself. So I'm going to make it to fit myself. So if you want the other sizes, as some portions of this pattern are separated specifically for the different sizes, and it's a lot. So the other sizes will be available in the pattern. You can pick up the pattern in my Etsy shop. I sell these patterns at a very affordable rate. All of them come with a video tutorial. So, you know, it's kind of worth it. But yes, you will find the other sizes in the pattern. So one other thing I want to warn you about when you go to pick up this pattern, it's one of those mail order patterns, and those came like folded up like an old school map. And the printing on this, they tried to cram as much printing as possible onto that one sheet of paper. So the print on this is very tiny. I did everything I could to make it as big as possible. This is a copy, not a copy, but a scan of the original, the way it came, broken up into only 2 parts. This is not the one you're going to find in the Etsy shop. This one is. I just wanted to show you so you had a little bit of understanding why even this one's print. As you can see, that's okay size, right? As we get into it though, the print is tiny, okay? But to get to this, we came from this, okay? Super tiny. It was just it was a lot, okay? So this here better represents the pattern you're actually going to find in the shop. The print on this is much, much bigger. Here is a sample of the stitch pattern we will be using. This is how the shells will lay, going down like this. So we're going to be working from up here. We're going to be working in this direction. And you can see very simple stitching, very simple. Here is how it looks now. So if you work this off your tablet or off your computer, you're going to be able to magnify this like this, and it's not going to be a problem. But printed, it's small, okay? It's very small. There we go. You can see that. But, you know, you will have this video to help guide you along the way, especially if you're going to be wearing the size 12 to 14. I am 160 pounds. I am 5'5", and I'm average in the torso, you know, in the torso. So if those measurements match you, then let me be your canary in the coal mine on this. Wait till the end of the video to see how it fits, because I will do a try on. Now the colors. I know dark colors are not camera friendly. I did not want to make this in anything but darker colors, if I'm honest. So I found some dark colors that I think are going to be camera friendly, except for black. I did pick black, but in this pattern, we are only using black for the single crochet rows. You guys know how to make a single crochet. You don't need to see exactly how a single crochet is made. We're all fairly experienced crocheters. Some of us are expertly experienced, some of you out there, and even beginners know what a single crochet looks like. So if I say work at one single crochet across the entire row, you really don't need to see me do that, because that will be done in black. I just wanted to put that out there in case anybody wanted to get mad at me for using black on camera. This is going to be my jacket. I want to wear this, and I want there to be black in it. Dadgummit. So they want us to pick 4 colors. These were my original colors, and I looked like a can of lemon lime Sprite. I didn't look like it, but the colors did. So yeah, I went to Walmart and I got the colors that I wanted. So they want us to pick 4 colors. Color number 1, dark. Color number 2, medium. Color number 3, light. And color number 4 is going to be your darkest shade. In the pattern, they will refer to color number 1, color number 2. That's why I wrote number 1, number 2, because that's how they refer to it in the pattern. So these are my colors. This is mulberry. This is my dark. Right now, as of right now, I don't know how much of this we're going to need. I don't trust their ounces. All right, so this is my dark, the mulberry, and you guys will be able to see this on camera. This is my medium, cafe latte. This is my dark, the black, and this is my light. I will be using the color Erin. Let me move these so you can see that color name, Erin. Okay, so this is my color palette. All right, so this is my color palette. I will leave links in the description completely. Look, I'm not affiliated with anyone. I don't have any sponsors. I represent just me and you, and that's it. So when I leave links down below, if they're not from my Etsy shop, then they're just links. They're just links to where you can find things. They don't earn me anything. Okay, I'm going to leave links down below for the Amazon store where I picked up this color here. I could not find this in my local Walmart. This cafe latte, I got 3 balls for $13. Not bad. But I can leave links down below for all of these colors if you want just to buy everything online. Okay, let's get started. Oh, we can't get started yet. I got to tell you about the hook. All we need is an H 5mm hook for the entire pattern. All right, let's get into this. Remember, with a pattern like this, we have a lot of color changes. We're going to have a lot of tails. I highly recommend you leave long tails like that so that you can bury your tail along the way, and it's a nice long tail so it won't come unburied. That way you don't have to sew so much. You don't have to weave in so much. Let's get right into this. Okay, so it wants us to start off with our dark color. So the number 1 color, dark. And that's for me going to be the mulberry. I'm going to leave a long tail. Okay, for the size 12-14, we're going to chain 56. So if that's the size you want to make, go ahead and chain 56. I'll be right back. Okay, so for the size 10 or 12-14, it says our chain should measure 15.5 inches without stretching, and I do have that. Let me just drag this end over. I'm not stretching it. Just laying it, it's relaxed, it's not stretched. And I am at 15.5 inches. So that is working out. Okay, let's just move on. Okay, so we're going to working in the second chain from the hook. I am working in the back bumps. It doesn't say to, that's just where I prefer to work. Work 1 single crochet, skip 1 stitch, and in the next stitch over, work a 4 double crochet shell. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you're going to skip the next stitch and work a single crochet into the next. So continue to work this until you can count 6 shells. That's going to get us about halfway through the chain. Then we have some work to do halfway through. So we're looking for 6 shells. So that was skip a stitch, next stitch over, work your 4 double crochet shell. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you skip a stitch and work a single crochet. I'll be right back whenever I have 6 of these worked up, followed by the single crochet. Okay, so there's my 6 shells. Now I'm going to end this with a skip 1 and 1 single crochet into the next. Now, without skipping anything at all into the very next stitch from your single crochet, work a 4 double crochet shell. And remember, this is for size 12-14. The instructions for the other 2 sizes are in the pattern. Okay, again, without skipping, work 1 single crochet next to that, without skipping. Into the next chain, I should have said. Sorry, guys. I just woke up like 40 minutes ago, so my brain is probably not firing on all 4 cylinders right now. Okay, we're going to do this 2 more times. So the next stitch gets the shell. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next stitch gets a single crochet without skipping. And next stitch, again without skipping, gets a shell. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and next stitch gets a single crochet. There we go. So that is what we should have: 3 shells and 3 single crochets, nothing skipped. This is going to create a dramatic bend in our work. Now we're going to finish the rest of this chain precisely how we started. We're going to skip 1 and work a 4 double crochet shell. Then skip 1, work a single crochet, skip 1, work a shell, skip 1, work a single crochet. All the way to the end, you should end with a single crochet into your last chain. So we're going to end with 6 more shells, exactly how we started. Skip 1, work a single crochet. Okay, so that's the repeat and the way we started. I'll be right back. Okay. So I've only got 1 stitch left, which is a skip 1 and work my last single crochet. Here is what you should have: 6 single crochet on both sides of the chain with, again, this is for size 12-14. It's going to be different for the other sizes, but with our 3 closely worked stitches up at the top to create this bend. I believe this is the back of the neck portion here. We are working right now from the neck down. we will work the hoodie last. I don't know if you guys caught that it has a hoodie, but it has a hoodie. Look, isn't that cool? Okay, so I didn't work my last stitch yet because we're going to do a color change. So it wants us to join with our darkest color. So I'm going to complete my last single crochet with the black. Basically 2 rows of single crochet, but I will explain to you how to do this first row of single crochet. Because the first row of single crochet, we will be working a few increases, but it's very, very easy. So, okay, joined with black. I'm going to bury a couple of my tails in as I go. I would recommend you do the same to avoid all this sewing. So in the first stitch, we work 1 single crochet. And in the first 2 double crochet, we work 1 single crochet. This is just to start. Now in the third double crochet over, we're going to work 2 single crochet into the same stitch. 1 and 2. Now for the rest of the pattern, it will work out like this. 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. That includes this single crochet between the shells. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next stitch over gets the increase of 2 single crochet into the same stitch. 1 and 2. And then you just repeat 4 single crochet in a row. 1. Sorry, it's a bit fiddly. I'm trying to bury my tails in. 2, 3, and 4. Then you're going to work your increase. So that's 1 and 2. And then work 4 single crochet in a row. 1, 2. I'm going to drop these tails now. 3 and 4. And that should line you up with your third double crochet of the shell. So you want your increase to go into the third stitch of the shell. And there we go, 1 and 2 for the increase. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet in a row, increase in the next, 1 and 2. So just repeat that all the way across, and I will be right back. Okay. Last single crochet worked. Now you will chain 1 and turn. I recommend working through both loops. We will be working through back loop only the rest of the stitches, but your first stitch and last stitch, I recommend working through both loops. There we go. Now work back loop only, single crochet into every stitch. We are not increasing any stitches on this row. We're simply working 1 single crochet in the back loop only of every stitch. And then you will cut your yarn when we get to the other end, because we're going to come back and start right here at the beginning. This is the right side facing where you see your front loop. You're working your back loops and then you have your front loops unworked. Where the front loops are is always going to be the right side of your work facing you. So you're going to cut your dark and then like a typewriter, just come on back and join with, let's see what color they want us to join with. It says to join with your medium shade. So for me, that's going to be the Cafe Latte. So you come back and you will join with a slip stitch into your very first single crochet over here, but work back loop only single crochet in every stitch across. I'll be right back. Okay, here's what we have so far. I did cut. I worked my last single crochet and cut. Now coming back over to the beginning, we're not turning at all. And we will be working through both loops. I think we only work through back loop only on our second single crochet row. So pretty much between each color, between most colors, I think we're going to work these 2 rows of single crochet with the second one always being a back loop only. So I did scan through the pattern a bit. So I like to leave a long tail for weaving in. Okay, this row is going to be pretty easy. So let's go ahead and chain 1 to join. Now it says to chain 3 for a double crochet, but I like to work a standing or a stacked single crochet. So if you're new to what that looks like, you'll go into your stitch and work 1 single crochet, and you'll see on the side of your stitch there are 2 like bars. This is our forward loop right here that I am pushing with my nail. We're going to go back into that forward loop and work 1 more single crochet, and that replaces the chain 3. In this same stitch, let's work 2 more double crochet for a half shell. Okay, now you will skip 2 and work a single crochet, skip 2 and work a 5 double crochet shell. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2 and work a single crochet, and this is the repeat all the way to the end. Skip 2 and work a shell. So when you get to the end, you should end with another half shell of 3 double crochet into your last stitch. And we're going to change color back to the black again because we're going to do 2 more rows of single crochet. The difference being we're not working any increases on these single crochet rows. They're just going to be single crochet with the exception of your second row will be back loop only, just like this one. So if you want your last double crochet, you can do a color change to finish your last double crochet with skip 2, work a single with your black, or you can just cut it completely however you wish, but we will be turning on that row. So it won't be cut and then start at the beginning. We will change color and then turn. All right, so this is the repeat, skip, skip, work a 5 double crochet shell, and then you will skip 2 and work a single crochet. I will be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to join with the black. And just to show, I ended with my 3 double crochet on the end. All right, we're going to start with single crochets across. No increases this time, so just put 1 single crochet into every stitch. And I am going to bury those tails in along the way. Yes. There we go. And just like that. So 1 single crochet into every double and 1 single crochet into every single crochet. I'll be right back when I get down to the other end. There we go. Worked all the way to the other end. Now chain 1. Again, I recommend that even though we're going to be working back loop only on this row, the first and last stitch be worked through both loops. There we go. So just work back loop only, single crochet, and I would work the last stitch, a full stitch, and then you will cut and not turn, but with the right side of the work facing you, which right now the right side of the work is facing us. Come all the way back to the beginning and join, and let's see what color do they want next. Next, we're going to join with our lightest color. So for me, that's going to be the off-white Aran color. And the next section we're going to work, if you're following along with the pattern, the next section we're going to work is specifically for size 12 to 14. They have 2 other whole separate sections just for size 16 and just for size 8 to 10. So this next row is going to be a shell increase row, and it's very important that you follow just the portion marked out for your size. Okay, here is what we have so far. I'm really pleased with the colors. Here's the colors I was using. They are very pretty together, but like I said, it was giving me Lemon Lime Sprite vibes, and I wasn't really feeling it. The green was my dark color. Yeah, I wasn't really feeling it, so I had to switch up. And I'm really happy that I did. Okay, now we're going to, with the right side facing us, and you can tell the right side is facing you, you just look at those ridges right there. That is the front loop that we didn't work for the back loop only single crochet. So with the right side facing us, go through both loops. We're going to work an increase shell row now. Now, like I said before, these instructions are going to be specific to the size that we are working on here, which is, one more time, 12 to 14. So, you know, you really need to pick up the pattern if you want to work the other sizes. I'm sorry about that. Okay, we're going to join with a single crochet. So right into our first stitch, one single crochet. Okay, so we're going to skip 2 stitches and work a 5 double crochet shell into the 3rd stitch over. And for the rest of this row, I'm just going to refer to this as a shell, as they are all 5 double crochet on this row. 3, 4, and 5. We're going to skip 2 stitches and work a single crochet in the 3rd one over. One more time, we're going to skip 2 stitches and work a shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now we're only going to skip 1 stitch and work our single crochet in the next one over. Now we're not going to skip any stitches and work a shell in the very next stitch over. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, not going to skip any stitches, and in the next stitch over, we work a single crochet. And that is our increase shell right there, the one where we don't skip anything. Now we're just going to skip 1 stitch and work a 5 double crochet shell. I repeated it, didn't I? We're going to skip just 1 stitch and work a shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so after our increase, the instructions say to skip 1 stitch and then repeat. And the repeat starts at our 5 double crochet shell. So we're going to skip 1 stitch and work a shell. 1, 2, and I will hold the instructions up so you can pause the screen and follow them along at your own pace. 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2 this time and work the single crochet. Skip 2 again and work the shell. Here is where we just skip we skip 1 stitch and we work our single. We skip no stitches, work our shell. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, we skip no stitches, work another single. Now we skip 1 stitch and we start our repeat over again, which starts us off with the shell. Skip 2, work a single. Skip 2, work a shell. We only skip 1, we work 1 single, 1 shell in the next stitch over. And 1 single in the next stitch over. Then you skip 1 and you start, you skip 1 and start all over again with your shell. Okay, so let me hold these instructions up for you so that you can pause the screen and read them at your own pace. Okay, I've got the Post-it note right here where the repeat starts, and right here is where the repeat ends. So go ahead and pause your screen there. Okay, I will meet back up with you when we get back to the beginning. We are going to work a color change. Let's see, what color do they want next? Oh, the color change is going to go back to black. So we're going to work our single crochet row. And let's see, do we work an increase? No, no increase on the next 2 single crochet rows. So after you work this, if you want to just work on ahead, you will work 1 row of single crochet into every stitch, and then 1 row of back loop only single crochet, and then cut. And with the right side facing, come back to the beginning. So I will be right back when I get to the end of this increase shell row. And I should have mentioned, you know, you will have worked it out correctly if you have 22 shells worked across this row. So no, that's a big fat lie. You know, you will have worked it out correctly if we have 21 shells worked across this row. So there's your shell count. Okay, so this is the best way I found to end this row and to keep our shell count. So after you've worked your last increase, and you can count your increases, you can see them, they stick up just a little bit higher and they don't have a lot of stretch to them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I've made 5 increases, and I am at this point before the end. So here's what I recommend we do. Again, this is just for size 10 or 12 through 14. Okay. Now we're going to just skip 1 stitch and work a shell. Now skip 2 stitches, work your single crochet. Skip 2 stitches, work your shell. Skip only 1 stitch, and we're going to work another increase. So single crochet, shell, and single crochet right next to it, no skips. Okay, now we're going to skip 2 and work a shell. Skip 2, work a single crochet. Skip 2, work a shell. Skip only 1 and work your single crochet. Skip only 1 again and work a shell. Now we will skip 2 and work our last single crochet. I'm going to finish this one with the black because we're going to change color. Okay, so now we're going to turn and work 1 row of single crochet. So just 1 single crochet into every stitch. After this, you will chain 1 and turn, and into the first stitch work a whole stitch, and then into every remaining stitch work a back loop only single crochet, and into your last stitch work a whole single crochet. So just like we did before. Okay, so I will be back whenever we are done with our 2 single crochet rows. And let's see, what color do they want us to work next? Probably going to be the dark again. Not, this is what they're calling the darkest, so probably going to be the mulberry again. Let me check. Yes. So after our after our 2 single crochet rows, we are switching back to the mulberry, the dark color, or your number 1 color as they have it. Okay, this row is going to be a fun one. I don't mean that sarcastically, like I practiced with it already. It's actually kind of fun. It changes things up a bit. All right, so we're going to start with 3 double crochet. So I'm going to work my stacked single. You can start with a chain 3 if that's what you're more comfortable with. That's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we're going to skip 1 stitch, and in the next stitch over, work a slip stitch. Turn, don't chain anything, just turn, and work 2 double crochet into each of the first 2 stitches. 1, 2. I meant to say single crochet, forgive me. Work 2 single crochet, and then 2 more into the next stitch. So now we have a total of 4 single crochet, and into the top of your starting stitch, work just 1. So that now we have a total of 5. Turn, no chaining, and work 1 single crochet into each single crochet back over, so all 5. There we go. Okay, now we are going to work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, next stitch over, 2, skip 1 stitch, and in the next stitch over, work a 5 double crochet shell, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now we're going to skip the next stitch and work a slip stitch in the next stitch over, and without chaining, turn, and turn it like in this direction so that the working yarn is behind your hook. If you turn it this way, it won't work. You see how it's in front? So turn it in a way that it is behind the work. And we're going to work 2 single crochet. Ow, I got to get over myself. 2 single crochet into every double crochet of the fan. So we're looking for 10 single crochet. And then down here. I got myself all jumbled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now work 1 slip stitch into the first slip stitch at the bottom of your fan. This will anchor everything down. And again, without chaining, turn and work 1 single crochet into all 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I almost put that into the wrong stitch. That's why I counted. 1, 2. Let me spin my work a little bit. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There we go. That's what you should have now. Now we're just going to repeat this all the way to the end, the larger shell here. So we're going to slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. And we're going to skip the next stitch and work a 5 double crochet shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next one over, work our slip stitch, if I can. There we go. Turn and work 2 single crochet into every stitch, making 10 single crochet total. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Work a slip stitch into that first slip stitch, 10 at the bottom of the shell. turn again, work 1 single crochet into all 10 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. Skip 1 stitch, and so we're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch over, we work our shell again. 1, 4, and 5. Skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch over, slip stitch, turn, 2 single crochet into every double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slip stitch into the slip stitch. Turn and work 1 single crochet back the other way, followed by 1 single crochet into each, 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches, skip a stitch, and start working on your next fan. Okay, so just keep repeating this all the way to the end. When you get to the end, come on back and we will finish this round up together. There we go. So I will be back. Okay, so to end this shell row, I've just worked my last shell repeat. It says to work 1 single crochet in the very next stitch. 1 slip stitch, forgive me, 1 slip stitch in the very next stitch. Then we're going to skip 1 stitch, and into the last stitch, we're going to work our half shell. So 3 double crochet, 2 and 3. Then we're going to turn without chaining and work 1 double crochet or 1 single crochet into the first, and then 2 into each of the next 2 stitches for a total of 5. Slip stitch into your slip stitch down here, turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch to the end, and then we're going to change color. Now the next row, it is a single crochet row that I would use black, and I'm going to use black, but on camera I will work this a little bit in the cream color so that you can see what I'm doing, because we are going to be working it just a little bit different. So I'm going to finish my last single crochet with the cream, but this is where we're meant to put our darkest color. I'm only using cream for the sake of the camera. There we go. Okay, I'm going to chain 1 to lock that in. Okay, so let's turn, and we're going to work 1 single crochet into the first 4 stitches, starting with the very first stitch that we joined into. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to work a 1 single crochet together join between the last stitch on this shell and the first stitch on the next shell. We're not going to do anything with the slip stitches. So we go into the stitch, into the last stitch of this shell, and pull up a loop. Then we go into the first stitch of the next shell and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3. Then work 1 single crochet into the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now that brings us to the last stitch of this shell. We go in and pull up a loop, And then the first stitch of the next shell, pull up a loop and pull through all 3, and then we just repeat. We work into the next 8 stitches with a single crochet, and when you get down to your last stitch and your first stitch of the next shell, just work them together in a single crochet together, okay? That's how we're going to work this first row of single crochet. I'm going to take all this out and do this in black. So I will be right back when I get to the end of this row. This, by the way, is row 11. So I will be back. Okay, the next row is going to be a very fast and easy one. We're going to work back loop only single crochet, but again, I'm always going to stress, I really recommend working through both loops in the first stitch and the last stitch. But back loop only single crochet in every stitch along, including the joined stitches that we made. Just treat those like a single crochet. There we go. And we will be doing another color change, so just cut off this tail here, cut off, leaving a long enough tail to weave in, and then we're going to rejoin. I think we're going to rejoin with our medium color, which for me is going to be the Cafe Latte. Let me look real quick. Yes, we are joining with the medium color, so when we come back, I'm going to join with my brown color. Okay, so finished my second row of the single crochet back loop only, joined with a slip stitch or a chain 1 into the first stitch with my brown or the medium color that you chose. Now we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch over, so we're not going to do anything with this first stitch yet. Slip stitch into the next stitch over, and I'll just bury that a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches and into the third stitch over, work a shell of 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches and work a slip stitch in the next 2 after that. 1 and 2. Turn and work 2 single crochet into each of the next 5 double crochets. So we're going to skip over the slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and work a slip stitch into that starting single crochet over there, or into the last single crochet we made from the last row. Turn and work 1 single crochet into each of the 10 stitches we just made. 2, 3, 4, 5, and twist my work a little. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we're going to work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches and then repeat. So there is 1 and 2. And the repeat is we skip 2 stitches. So skip, skip, and in the third stitch over, work our shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, we're going to skip the next 2 single crochet and work 2 slip stitches into each of the next 2 after those. Then we turn, and into the double crochets, we start working our 2 single crochet into each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we're going to skip this first slip stitch and we're going to work into the second slip stitch over. So we're going to skip the first one and work a slip stitch into the next one over, then turn and work 10 single crochet into every stitch on the way back over. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oops. Now we're going to work one slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches. Skip the next 2 stitches, and into the third stitch over, we start working our shell again. So if you need to rewind this section, go ahead, if that will help you lock down the repeat. But this is what it will look like. And remember, on your way back over this way, whenever you're working 2 single crochet in each of the 5 stitches, skip the first slip stitch and slip stitch into the second one over. It will look like this. Okay, you're going to skip the first one and work into the second one, okay? All right, I will be right back. Okay, let's finish this row together. So I've just worked my last shell, my full shell repeat. So now here we go. Into the very next 2 stitches, 1 slip stitch in each. Skip, skip, work another shell. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And just as we have been doing, we skip the first 2 stitches and we work 1 slip stitch into each of the last 2 stitches. And I'm just going to go ahead and complete the rest of this shell real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, then we're just going to into our very last stitch. Let's work 1 more slip stitch. I believe we are going to change color. Let me see real quick what color we're changing. Okay, we are changing to the black again. And from what I just read, you remember the row we did down here where we worked our 2 single crochet together? We're going to do that again here. I'm not going to do it in cream, as now I think you guys know how to do it, so I'm just going to do it in the black. So I completed my slip stitch with the black. Now let's work our first single crochet row. It's going to be worked up, we're going to chain 1. It's going to be worked up just like the last row where we worked the 2 single crochet together in the little valleys here. So we're going to slip stitch into our first stitch. So let's slip stitch into the first stitch. Now we're going to work 1 single crochet for the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we work 2 single crochet together. So here is the last stitch of this shell, and let me pull my yarn through, and then the first stitch of the next shell over, and then pull through all 3. Just like we did in the right down into here. And then the second row of single crochet is going to be back loop only. Nothing special or new there. So let's work these 2 rows, and the 2 rows that we are working are 14 and 15. There we go. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, now let's move on to the next row. Chain 1. Of course, I always recommend working in the first 2 loops, like the full stitch. Now we're going to work our back loop only single crochet row. 1 back loop only single crochet into every stitch to the end, cut, and with the right side of the work facing you, come back, and I think we are joining with the lightest color. Let's see here, join with number 3. Yes, so we're going to join with the lightest color of our options. So I'll see you then. Okay, so I have joined with my lightest color, and we're going to work a half shell into the first stitch again. So that's going to be 3 double crochet. There's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we're going to skip 1 stitch, and we're going to work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2. And then just like we've been doing, we're going to build out onto these shells. So 2 single crochet into the first 2 double crochet, and then 1 into the third, equaling 5 single crochet in a row. And then we turn again, and we work 1 single crochet into each of those 5. 4 and 5. Now I somehow got 1 extra stitch. I got 1 stitch too many in the black portion. So just myself going to do this, but at least you'll learn how to do this if you've never done it before. I'm going to work a slip stitch 2 together to eliminate one of these stitches. So I'm going to go into my first stitch, pull up a loop, go into my next stitch, pull up a loop, and instead of yarning over and pulling through, since it's a slip stitch, I'm just going to hook this first stitch right here and pull those through both, and then work 1 more slip stitch in the next stitch over. So our instructions are to work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches. I did this for the sake of I had 1 extra stitch. And we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and right here in the middle, we're going to work another shell. So we've done this before. 3, 4, and 5. Just like down here on this row, we're going to skip the first 2 stitches and slip stitch into the next 2. 1 and 2. And then we're going to build up on these fans, just like we've been doing. 2 single crochet into every stitch so that we have 10 single crochet in a row. And we're going to skip the first slip stitch, and we're going to slip stitch into the next one over, turn, and work 1 single crochet into every stitch, into all 10 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then you're going to work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of homework. Continue to work this pattern repeat exactly as we did down here with our medium color, and then the next 2 rows are going to be exactly as these 2 rows. You're going to in the little valleys here, well, let me speak in terms of crochet. So in your last stitch of the fan and your first stitch of the fan with the black yarn anyway, you're going to work 2 single crochet together, just like we did here and just like we did here, and then your second row of single crochet is going to be back loop only. So work the rest of this row and then work the next 2 rows, which are a repeat of row 11 and row 12, being the rows where we worked the single crochet together here down in the little dip. Okay, so that is going to be rows 16, 17, and 18. So I will jump back on here whenever we are ready to work row 19. Okay, also, I already have just over an hour's worth of footage here just with this much, so this tutorial may need to be a 2 or even 3-part series. because it's not that it takes a long time to make it, it's that it takes a long time to film it, because I got to explain every row. As we've seen, every row is different from the last for the most part. And from what I saw, there really isn't a way for me to give you any homework and say, okay, now work row 25 through 37 this way. No, it's still going to remain, every row is going to be different. We're going to continue to work this pattern in this fashion. I'm going to jump on here. We've got rows 19 through 24, and they are a bit different from each other. And at some point, we're going to start to divide for the arms and for the front portions. So there's kind of a lot going on. It's not that it's a long time to make, it's just that there's a lot going on, a lot of, micro steps. So this tutorial, we may be looking at a 2 or 3 part tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and edit what you see now. I'm going to get this out for you, get you started. I'm going to continue to work my butt off on this and get part 2 out, hopefully within just 1 or 2 days of part 1 being out. And the same will go for part 3, because I think part 3, we may just do sleeves and hood for part 3. And then, of course, the little finishing ups. And then my little fashion show I'm going to give you guys. I'm really excited to show off the different ways to wear this. I've been just imagining in my head how it's going to look in different ways. So I'm going to let you go here, and I will see you in part 2 as we just continue to work down this way. But of course, you can always continue on your own if you're comfortable reading a vintage pattern, and pick the pattern up and just carry on. And if you get stuck, hold on a minute, and I will have another video out for you to help get you through the part you're stuck on, okay? I will see you guys in the next part of this coat.